Hi everyone, welcome back. I have a tag video today. It feels like a really long time since I've done a tag, and frankly, who doesn't like answering questions about themselves and makeup? So the tag in question is the 21 Questions Makeup Edition. This was created by Ali Glines, who I'm not familiar with, but I found the tag over on Natalie's channel, so I will link to both of their videos down below. So, 21 questions, let's go. What is the oldest makeup product in your collection? Some of this I feel like is going to be repetitive because I recently did a oldest makeup in my collection and put it on my face kind of thing. And without a doubt, the oldest product I have in my collection is this MAC Iridescent Silver Dusk Powder. I got this in, I think I say either 97 or 98. This is the old packaging. It's beat up to hell. Like there's cracks out of it. It just looks like utter garbage at this point. But it is a wonderful product. I've held on to it for so long because it's one of my most treasured MAC items that I got back in the 90s. I have repurchased it and the product is essentially the same in the new format as it is in the old format, but I hold on to it just because it's a powder and I really don't see the point in throwing it out. It works fine, which scares the crap out of people, I know. Okay, it's weird that I have makeup that is this old, but honestly it's fine, and I've used this so freaking much and yet so much of it still remains, and it's just gorgeous. The thing that I love about this is it just looks like fairy dust on the skin. You can really overdo it with this thing, okay? When I first picked this up back in the 90s, I guess I thought it was a face powder, so I just put it all over my face. Well, I looked like the silver equivalent of C3PO, okay? Like it was just excessive. But like if you use it strategically, like on like the, you know, highlighted areas that you're supposed to highlight, or on your like neck and shoulders, like it looks really freaking gorgeous. So I'm happy that I still have it. I'm glad that I have it in a new format so that I can use something a little bit less weird and old. But yeah, this is definitely the oldest product in my collection. Number 2 is what is your most recent makeup purchase? And I just filmed 2 different videos on this. It's the Club Nebula palette by Kaleidos and Angelica Nique Feast. This is gorgeous. And I don't buy a lot of eyeshadow palettes or even really makeup recently just because quarantine, as I keep repeating, I'm sure it's getting annoying, but like really we don't need to be buying makeup right now. But this was one of those products that I really just couldn't stop myself from picking up. I love the color combination. I really like Angie's videos and I wanted to support her and try out an indie brand with a color combination in an eyeshadow palette that I really enjoyed. So it really just like ticked off all the boxes, you know? And I've been dead pleased with this. I filmed 2 separate videos on this, which just goes to show you how much I enjoy it because frankly, I've been changing up my palettes every week for my Get Ready With Me videos. And this was just one that I did not want to be done with after 1 week. So I played with it for a second video and I'm in love with the color selection in here. She did a fantastic job and the formula is freaking incredible. Okay, I've tried nothing by Kaleidos before and this was just like an eye-opening experience that makes me want to check out more by the brand. So yeah, I was really pleased with my most recent makeup purchase. Question number 3 is what is the first makeup product you ever used? Okay, so I used to be a dancer. That makes it sound like I did it very well. I was like a jazz dancer when I was like, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 years old, something like that. I really don't remember how old I was. And for our recitals, we'd have to wear makeup. So I'm assuming that my mom put mascara on me, probably a dark blue navy mascara because that's what my mom used to wear. I don't know if she still does. Does she wear black now or is she wearing navy? So either mascara or maybe lipstick. But I don't know which one would have been the first one I ever would have used. Probably it's a toss-up between those 2. That's pretty much my earliest memory of wearing makeup was for those like jazz dance recitals. Question number 4 is what is a makeup trend that you used to love but now you hate? Ooh, what do I hate now? I don't know if I tend to hate makeup trends. Or like ones that I used to do, I guess, is what I'm taking out of this. What did I used to... I don't know if I ever really loved something that I now hate. Like, I never used to use like a transition color through my crease. And I don't know if that was a look that I especially loved, but I definitely hate not having a transition color now. Why can't I think of anything for this question? There has to be something. Okay, I don't have a good answer for that one. I'm so sorry. Conversely, the next one is, what is a makeup trend that you used to hate but now you love? And I feel like I give the same response to this every single time, but it's really the only thing that I can think of. I used to really detest when people would do white or a flesh tone lower waterline eyeliner look. I thought it looked really silly, but now I do it, and I'm wearing it today. I've got like a skin tone type color for my flesh on the lower lash line, waterline, but I used to absolutely hate it. When I saw it being done like 10 years ago, I was like, ew, why would you do that? And maybe my reaction was a little bit more specifically towards stark white, because while I think it can look really cool artistically if you're doing like white lashes or some sort of like blown out white look, I always thought like a neutral eye look with a white liner was super bizarre. I was more into like, now I would say I'm more into like the flesh tone type colors, but that was a trend that I absolutely detested, and now I do, so whatever. Question number 6 is, what is your favorite step in your makeup routine? Oh, interesting. So overall, I would say my favorite thing is doing my eyeshadow. However, my favorite absolute step is finishing off the eyeshadows by adding a bone colored brow bone highlighter. Look, it's like the most boring step in makeup, period. It's not really adding anything. It might be highlighting a little bit, but it's really just melding out that crease color into your brow bone. For whatever reason, using that bone colored shade plus the brush that I use is probably the most satisfying thing that I do in my makeup routine. And I don't know why, it just really is. It's nothing exciting either, right? Like, it's not like a colorful thing. It's not something that really changes your overall look, but it's really satisfying. Question number 7 is, what is a makeup product that you can't live without? Okay, so I gotta talk about MAC's Prep and Prime for lips. If I am going to work in what would be a regular world, so into the actual office, and I'm wearing lipstick, I have to wear this primer for lips because I get insane bleed out from the lip color just like seeping outside of my lip lines. Powder doesn't work. Liner doesn't work. Mattifying it with a blotting paper or using something, anything, all of the tricks that people tell you to do to stop your lips from bleeding out don't work for me. The only thing that has ever worked is this Prep and Prime for lips, and it is just a clear, what looks like a lip balm. You put it all over your lips, and I extend it past my lip line so that it kind of like acts like a protective barrier. You wait 2 to 3 minutes for it to go tacky, and it will go tacky. It's a little bit like glue, but not that glue in texture or that sticky. It'll go a little bit sticky, and then you apply your lip color on top. And this will hold your lip color in place like nobody's business. I don't suffer from any lip line bleed out. I don't have any smearing, any smudging. The longevity is fantastic with this. And it's truly the only thing that works. If I'm wearing lipstick for like an hour, which is what I'm doing right now for filming, my lips are fine. But if I'm wearing lipstick like 6 hours plus, if I don't wear this stuff, I just end up with like what I would describe as like those old lady lines where it just looks like my lip color is trying to escape from my mouth. I hate it. I can't stand that look. So I have to use this, otherwise I'm just going to have those lines. So this is like truly the one makeup product that I can't live without if I'm going to be wearing like lip color. Lipstick in specific, by the way, like a lipstick bullet or any kind of cream format, liquid lipsticks don't seep outside my lip line, so I don't have to use that with them. But any like cream lipstick formula, for sure, I have to use MAC's Prep and Prime for lips. Question number 8 is, what sparked your love for makeup? I know when I started wearing it, but I don't really know why I got excited about it. So I've told this story before, but my aunt kind of got me into makeup because I was picking up makeup products at MAC when, again, I don't really know my age, 11 or 12, at the MAC counter downtown Ottawa at the Rideau Center. We were picking up makeup so that I could enhance my features for my figure skating competitions. And they were fairly neutral tones at the time, nothing tremendously exciting, but I think there was something combined with like hanging out with my aunt and buying products that felt very grown up at the time, and then realizing that there was opportunity to use color on my face as opposed to just neutral tones is kind of what sparked my love for makeup. I've never been one that's been like drawn to like famous makeup artists or stuff like that. Like I'm not I don't know if I feel like I'm really into the artistry side of things. There are some makeup artists that I just find their work phenomenal, but it's not something that I find myself inspired by or looking for. So I don't really know what actually sparked my interest in makeup, other than I've always been somewhat of a creative person myself. Like I used to sort of paint and draw. I always took art classes at school. So maybe I kind of like the concept of drawing on my own face, because it was like a canvas you just wash over and over again and you can do whatever you want to it. So that's the only explanation I can really give on what sparked my interest in makeup, because I can't really pinpoint it to any one thing. So yeah, that's my answer. Question number 9 is, what is the worst makeup look you've ever done? Oh geez, I don't know. I'm sure there's tons that I look back on and don't think it's very flattering. I don't tend to always photograph the ones that are terrible. Like there's been a few times before work in the last few years where I've started to do an eyeshadow look and it looked so horrific that I've had to wipe it off and try something new. But I don't have like a visual record of those, so I couldn't tell you what I've done. I think the worst makeup looks tend to be when I take colors that I'm not sure are going to work together, but there's a slim chance that they will, and then I put them on the eye and I'm like, no, that was a colossal mistake. But I can't really pinpoint anything. If I can think of something while I'm editing this video, I'll throw up a picture of it, but nothing is truly coming to mind. Question number 10 is, what is your favorite makeup look you've ever done? So there's one that I replicate a lot, and it uses Inglott's AMC Shine Shadow, and I think the shade 24, with 2 colors from Urban Decay's Electric palette, like a turquoise color and a deep purple, and there's something about that look together that's just, it's a little bit mermaid-esque, but the color combination just makes me so freaking happy. And I learned to pair that eyeshadow look with Kat Von D's liquid lipstick in the shade Lovesick, and there's something about that color combination that just really worked for me and really made me happy. It became a look that I use quite frequently for events when I wanted to look very much like me. So that's definitely one of my favorite cool tone looks. The other one that I can think of is the one that I do for my birthday every year, which I filmed, well, would have been about a month or 2 ago now. Yeah, a month ago. With the Inglot shadows in oranges and reds that just, with glitter, that just really, really makes me happy. But in general, there's quite a few looks that I end up quite liking, but not so many that I end up replicating. So the birthday one and the one that I mentioned with the Urban Decay Electric palette are ones that I've definitely used again and again. So those would be some of my favorite looks. Question number 11 is, what is your favorite drugstore makeup product? Probably mascara. I don't see the point in spending a lot of money on Sephora mascaras. They're just too pricey. 28 to 30 bucks for something that you're gonna chuck in 6 months. I just don't see the point. For drugstore mascaras, my favorites would definitely be the CoverGirl Clump Crusher. I find that one has the best longevity without smearing anywhere. So I seem to have this problem with a lot of mascara where I get like little dots down here that come from my lower lash line just colliding with my eye socket area, and a lot of mascaras will do that, which is really frustrating, but the CoverGirl Clump Crusher doesn't. The other one that I can think of that I really love but does unfortunately have that kind of effect sometimes is the Maybelline Lash Sensational Luscious Full Fan Effect Mascara. I haven't used that one in a really long time, but the volume and just how impressive it made my lashes was really, really good. So those would be the 2 that I would say are like my favorite drugstore items. What is your favorite splurge makeup product? Ugh, I don't know. I don't tend to spend a lot. Like my break point with eyeshadow palettes is definitely in the $80 to $100 range. So I don't know if that's really a splurge, because I just don't break that point. Like when those Natasha Denona palettes came out, they were like 250 bucks. I was like, there is no way in hell that I'm spending that kind of money. I don't care how good the eyeshadow formula is. It's not $250 worth. So I guess in order to answer, my favorite splurge makeup products are eyeshadow palettes because they do tend to be more expensive. But I don't know, is that splurgy? When I think of splurge, I think of something like insanely priced, like the Natasha Denona palettes, or something that's just like exorbitant for no good reason, like the what is it, those like super designer like lipsticks are like 100, the Louboutin lipsticks, where they like 120 bucks, something like that. Like, I will not spend that kind of money. There's no chance in hell. So that's what I think of splurge. So I don't tend to think that what I buy is very splurgy, but I mean, that changes for everybody. Number 13 is, what is your most repurchased makeup product? Oh, that has to be the NYX Micro Brow and Taupe. I tend to go to IMATS and buy like 10 every year. So I've definitely gone through at least 30, 40 of them over the years. Is that true? That's a lot of NYX Micro Brow. That has to be true. Yeah, NYX Micro Brow in Taupe has been my most repurchased product for sure. Question number 14 is, what is your earliest makeup memory? Oh, I kind of touched on this earlier. The earliest that I can remember is wearing makeup for my jazz concerts. Recitals? I don't know what we called them back in the day. For my jazz dance performances. My mom had this, I've said this before, my mom had this, like, I don't remember the color, but it was like a orange, red, who knows, kind of lipstick in a yellow orange bullet. Don't know the brand, don't remember it. Do remember always liking that color. And then she would probably apply mascara to me as well. I don't know if I wore anything else, but that's the earliest that I remember wearing makeup. I know a lot of women have stories about watching their mothers putting on makeup, but I don't remember ever doing that. Really, I don't recall doing that at all. Okay, question number 15 is, what is your favorite place to shop for makeup? Oh. I mean, shopping for makeup in Canada is not the greatest experience. Sephora has a terrible point system and never have any perks, so it feels kind of dumb to shop via them. We don't have Ulta in Canada and they don't ship here anymore, so that's not an option either. I would say Shoppers Beauty Boutique, but their selection is very limited on their website and you can't use gift cards on their website, so that's just infuriating. So honestly, I don't know if our options for shopping for makeup in Canada are that great, to be honest. I can't say I love the experience of any of them. I would say Sephora is probably the place that I've purchased the most products, but I wouldn't tell you that that's my favorite place to shop for makeup. I guess my favorite place would have been the physical Inglot stores, but we don't have any physical stores here in Toronto anymore, so that's kind of annoying. I don't have an answer for that one. Question number 16 is, what is the most underrated makeup product you own? Ah, I kind of segued into this by accident. Inglot! My God, you people, would you please go buy Inglot? They're just the best. Their eyeshadows have the most amount of selection I've ever seen. The quality is phenomenal. Like, their foundation's fantastic. Their highlighters are great. Their liquid lipsticks are fantastic. Their pigments are, like, Inglot can do no wrong, frankly. So this is one of my rainbow palettes. It's all matte. This is so pleasing to me. It is so, so pleasing. Phenomenal. Just freaking phenomenal. I've got a neutral eyeshadow palette here, if that's more your speed. You can, like, I always show off the, like, colorful Inglot things, but, like, you can get, like, natural looking makeup if that's what you're looking for. Not enough people talk about them. They just don't do enough PR for people, and I think that is really to their disadvantage because they have unbelievable products, and they are one of my favorite brands to buy from, just because the quality is always fantastic. Like, seriously, people used to talk about Inglot maybe 10 years ago a little bit, but like they've just stopped, and that concerns me because they're a fantastic brand and I just want people to buy them so that they never go out of business. So yeah, Inglot's got to be one of the most underrated brands and makeup products that I've ever used for sure. Question number 17 is, what is the most overrated makeup product that you own? The first thing that came to mind was this. It's the Guerlain Meteorites. This was the Flocon Enchanté, which is just enchanted snowflakes. And hands down, this is the most expensive product that I own. I think it was about 120 bucks. And the only reason that I picked it up was because I had a $50 gift card for the Bay. So it knocked the price down significantly. I bought this thinking, you know, I'm finally going to get to experience what everybody's talking about with the meteorites, and they're so pretty and they're so luxurious and they make your skin look fantastic. No, man, no. Like, they don't do anything. They might add a hint of sparkle, and I don't know if that's specifically this one, but it's nothing worthy of 100 bucks. I mean, you're just paying for the branding, and I'm sure we all know that, but like, good grief. So mine's a little bit beat up because I've tried to use it, but it's not fun using this thing. It used to come with a puff on top, which, ugh, no one uses those things. So I've been dipping a brush into here, but like, it's not convenient to use these little pearls. They end up quite dusty. The effect is not much on the face, and like, I want to use it up because I spent the money on it, but like, it's really just not that impressive. I don't know why people go on about this, frankly. I don't think it does much for your face. And yet they release these things every year for the holidays and in their permanent range, and people go bananas for them. Totally overrated. Totally and completely. Question number 18 is, what is a discontinued makeup product you wish would come back? So I'm assuming most people answer this question with something that's really old that they wish would come back, but I'm going to talk about a product that's relatively recent. Melt Muerte palette. This needed to not be limited edition, okay? This thing was just something new in makeup, something exciting. I've talked about this quite a bit over the last year or so. This color combination is phenomenal, okay? Like, no one has released something that looks like this. I've never been so inspired by a palette before that I would come up with something completely outside of the box for me, but this palette did that. They launched as part of their, some sort of holiday collection. I don't think it was Day of the Dead, was it? I feel like it was around Christmas time, but I don't really remember. They released this with the Vita palette, and the Vita one sucks. I don't like it. But the Muerte palette, it's so freaking good. And this is one that I wish more people had a chance to pick up. I know it's not necessarily everybody's speed. No one's looking for like 3 reds in a palette with some dark like blue and like green colors, but this is fantastic. And it's just so sad that it was like such a limited launch. And I held off on buying it too. I thought it was a little bit overpriced. I think it, was it 69 or 79 bucks? Like it felt pricey. And I ended up getting that one with a gift card too. And honestly, I wish I hadn't waited that long to pick it up. It is worth the money for sure. But I mean, it doesn't matter because you can't buy it anymore. Question number 19 is, where do you go for makeup inspiration? Google, generally. Like if I can't think of a combination to come up with an eyeshadow palette, I'll just Google looks and then the brand and then the eyeshadow palette name. And usually I'll see something that I'm like, hey, I can do that. I don't generally have to do that, but that is something that I have done. The other place that I really get inspired from, and it's not necessarily that I recreate her looks, but I find some of her techniques very interesting. Midnight Weirdo on Instagram. I've mentioned her before. I think she changed her name to, is it Gabriella Alvarez? She changed it to her real name, so I can link to her down below, but I find her technique and her way of doing makeup so completely out of the box. And it's not anything that's really like super intricate or difficult to do. It's just her color placement and choice for products is very different than my own. And as I've said, I don't necessarily replicate those looks, but it gives me inspiration to try new and different things that I would have otherwise not thought of whatsoever. So I find a lot of her stuff very inspiring. Question number 20 is, what do you hope to see less of in makeup's future? You know, at one point in time, I would have said less makeup launches so that the launches themselves would feel more exciting when they came out. But I feel like a lot of brands have pulled back on their launches due to COVID, which is good. And yet now when they launch something, I find it to become something completely boring, just something I'm not interested in at all. So even though they're doing less launches, I feel like the launches that are coming out are just ones that I have zero interest in. So I don't know if it's just their launches in particular or the fact that they're just not launching anything exciting during these times. So at one point in time I would have said less launches, but I don't feel like anything inspiring is actually coming out now. So I don't know if less launches is good or just means I'm getting bored for longer periods of time. 21 is, what do you hope to see more of in makeup's future? Oh, I mean, this kind of ties in the last question too. I'm not someone who really looks to the future and what I want to see in makeup or brands or what they're launching. I like seeing other people's creativity, but I don't feel like I'm the creative person trying to figure out what I want to see in the future. So this is not a great answer, but I would just say more interesting color schemes and eyeshadow palettes from mainstream brands, I guess. But that, I feel like everybody's gonna say something relatively similar because I feel like the indie brands are really pumping it up in terms of their launches and releasing things that are unique and not just mundane launches, but they're less accessible than mainstream brands. And while that's fine, I would like to see mainstream brands actually do something that is not a regurgitation of the hundreds of launches that they've done before. Like Mac, oh god, ugh. Their launches have just gone down the shitter, frankly. Like, does anybody care about Mac's new launches? No, I haven't cared in a good 8 years, 10 years, who knows. Their stuff is just so dull now. So yeah, I would say mainstream brands doing something more interesting. However, the caveat to that is that indie brands have that on lock. So I feel like if the mainstream brands start copying the indie brands, then that sucks the indie brands. So it's not a great answer either. Okay, I'm gonna end it there. Well, that is where the tag ends, so I guess I have to end it there. I'm not sure if those were two great questions to end on because I just don't really have very creative answers for those. But yeah, that's it for the 21 questions makeup edition. If you are interested in doing this tag, I think we're long past the point where people actually tag people in tag videos, but I always leave the questions in the description box down below in case you want to copy them and port them over to your channel. Okay, I'm gonna leave it there. Thanks for joining me today, and I'll see you next time. Bye.